The city of New Eden was full of tall glass towers, flying cars, and talking robots. People lived busy lives, using machines for everything, in one of those tall buildings. A man named Aaron sat in his office. He was rich, powerful, and known as the creator of the smartest home AI in the world. But behind his success, Aaron carried a deep sadness. His 6-year-old son, Milo, had never spoken a word. Doctors had tried everything. Special chips, neural training, speech robots all failed. Some said Milo had a rare condition. Others said he just needed time. But Aaron knew something was missing. Something all the machines couldn't give. One rainy evening, Aaron finished a long meeting and looked at a photo of Milo on his desk. The boy had soft brown hair and kind eyes. Aaron felt a sudden pull in his heart. "I'll pick him up today," he told his assistant. "We'll go out, just us." The rain had stopped when Aaron arrived at the child therapy center. Milo was sitting quietly, holding a small wooden block in his hand. He looked up at his father but didn't smile. He never did. Aaron picked him up gently, wrapped him in his coat, and walked to his car. Instead of going home, he drove toward the older part of the city. He didn't know why. Maybe he just wanted something different. He turned onto a quiet street and saw a small diner with warm lights and a wooden sign, "Lily's Place." He parked the car and carried Milo inside. The diner was cozy. No robots, no screens. Just soft music and the smell of fresh bread. A few people sat quietly at tables. Behind the counter, a young woman was pouring tea. She wore a simple apron and had a gentle smile. "Hi there," she said as they entered. "You're welcome to sit anywhere." Aaron nodded and sat with Milo at a corner table. The boy looked around slowly, touching the wooden table with his fingers. It was the first time Aaron saw him curious about something new. The waitress came over with water. "My name's Lena. Would your son like a puzzle or some crayons?" Aaron raised an eyebrow. He doesn't really respond. He's quiet. But before he could finish, Lena knelt beside Milo. She didn't speak loudly or try to touch him. Instead, she slid a small wooden puzzle across the table and smiled. Then, using simple hand gestures, she pointed to the colors red, blue, yellow. Milo looked at her. For a moment, he didn't blink. Then, very slowly, he touched the blue piece. Aaron sat up straight. That was new. Lena didn't act surprised. She simply nodded and continued with soft gestures. Milo picked another piece, then another. Each time, Lena made a soft sound. "MMM, good job." When she walked away to serve other tables, Aaron leaned closer to Milo. "You liked her, didn't you?" Milo didn't answer, but he didn't push the puzzle away either. The next day, Aaron found himself driving to the diner again. This time, on purpose, Lena smiled when she saw them. "Back again. That makes me happy." She brought a different puzzle today, one with animals. Milo reached for the lion piece and looked at her. Lena signed the word lion with her hands, then made a soft roaring sound. Aaron watched closely. Something was happening. Milo was trying to copy the sound. It was soft, just a breath, but it was real. After they left the diner, Aaron sat in his car in silence for a long time. That night, he did something he hadn't done in months. He sat with Milo in his room and tried to talk to him, not with machines, not with a smart screen, but with his hands, his voice, and his heart. Milo looked at him, really looked. Aaron felt tears in his eyes. The next morning, he returned to the diner alone. Lena was cleaning tables. "I want to ask you something," Aaron said. "How did you do?" That Lena looked up. "Do what?" "My son hasn't responded to anyone like that, ever." "What did you do differently?" She smiled gently. "I didn't try to fix him. I just listened." Aaron sat down. "I've hired the best doctors, the best technology. Nothing worked, sometimes." Lena said, "Machines forget something important. Connection, eye contact, patience. Kids like Milo don't need more tech. They need more understanding." Aaron was quiet for a while. Then he asked, "Would you come to my house? Just once? I want to see if Milo will react the same way." Lena hesitated. "I'm just a waitress now. I used to work at a therapy center, but I left that life. It broke my heart when children were treated like problems instead of people. Aaron said softly, I don't want anyone treating my son like a problem. I just want to help him find his voice. Lena looked into his eyes. She saw the truth in his words. All right, she said at last, I'll come. That evening, as the sun set over New Eden, Aaron opened the doors of his high-tech home for a humble waitress with a quiet heart. And in that moment, the journey truly began. The next day, Aaron waited near the window. He didn't have any meetings. He told his staff to cancel everything. Today was important. Today, Lena was coming to visit Milo. His house was full of the newest machines, smart lights, talking doors, floating screens, but none of it had ever brought joy to Milo. It all felt cold. At exactly 4 o'clock, Lena arrived. She wore a simple green dress and carried a small bag. Aaron opened the door himself. Thank you for coming, he said. Lena smiled. I'm happy to see Milo again. They walked into the quiet living room. Milo sat on a soft mat, playing with a toy robot. He didn't look up when they entered. Aaron stepped back and let Lena approach first. She didn't speak. She simply sat near Milo and placed a small picture card in front of him. It showed a sun. Slowly, she signed the word sun with her hands. Then she pointed to the window, where the evening light was shining in. Milo turned his head. He looked at the card. Then, he looked at the window. Aaron watched from a distance. His heart was beating fast. Lena pulled out more cards. Moon, tree, cat. Milo touched the tree card and then pointed to the houseplant in the corner. Good job, Lena whispered. Then she took out something else from her bag, a small wooden puzzle with animal faces. It wasn't new. The paint was faded, but Milo's eyes lit up. He picked up the rabbit piece and turned it in his hand. He remembers this, Lena said quietly. I used to use this with other children. Some toys speak louder than machines. Aaron sat down across from them. He responds to you in a way I've never seen before. Lena nodded. Because I don't rush him. After an hour, something surprising happened. Lena took out a small sound toy. It was old, a simple box that made soft sounds when touched. Most people thought these toys were useless in the age of digital tech. But when Lena placed it in front of Milo and touched the green button, the toy made a soft humming sound. Milo's eyes widened. He touched the button again. The sound came again, gentle, calming. And then, very softly, Milo made a sound of his own. It wasn't a word, just a breathy ah. Aaron stood still. His mouth opened, but no words came out. He didn't want to scare the moment away. Lena stayed calm. That's his voice, she said softly. He's trying. That night, Aaron sat with Lena in the garden. The sky was full of stars, and the lights in the house were dim. I don't understand, Aaron said. Why didn't the best therapists see this? Because they were looking for quick results, Lena replied. Machines are fast, but children, they need time. They need connection. Aaron looked up at the stars. I spent millions on smart devices, speech chips, even brain scans. None of it helped. You were trying to fix him, Lena said gently. But he's not broken. Aaron looked down, ashamed. You're right, Lena smiled kindly. But you care. That's why you brought him to the diner. That's why you're sitting here now. You love him. And that matters more than any machine. The next day, Milo sat near the window. Aaron noticed something unusual. His son was waiting for someone. Lena arrived again, this time with a small bag of cloth animals and a notebook. Do you have time for another session? She asked. As much time as you need, Aaron replied. They sat together on the floor. Lena laid out the animals and signed each one. Cat, dog, fish. Milo pointed to the fish, then looked at the notebook. Lena drew a simple fish and wrote the word under it. Milo traced the word with his finger. It was small progress, but it was real. After lunch, Lena sat with Aaron again. You know, she said, he's not just listening. He's feeling safe. That's the first step to speech, feeling safe enough to try. I want to help him every way I can, Aaron said. Then stop bringing in strangers with machines. Let me keep working with him the way I know how. Aaron nodded. Whatever you need. Later that evening, Milo walked up to Aaron and gently tapped his arm. Aaron looked down, surprised. What is it, Milo? Milo held up the cat picture card. You want the toy cat? Aaron asked. Milo didn't move. Then, very softly, he made a sound. Caw. Aaron froze. Did you just caw? Milo said again, with a soft breath. It wasn't perfect. It wasn't clear. But it was the first real sound that matched. A worried parent fell to his knees, eyes full of tears. You did it, he whispered. You said something. Milo touched his father's cheek gently. His eyes sparkled. That night, Aaron stood on the rooftop garden, staring at the stars. He called his assistant and said, I won't be coming to the office for a while. I've found something more important. The morning sun filled the large living room with golden light. Birds sang softly outside the window. Inside the house, everything was quiet except for the sound of a little boy humming. Milo sat on the carpet, playing with colored cards. He wasn't just moving them around. He was matching them, red with red, blue with blue. Then he picked up the yellow card and made a soft sound. Yeep. Aaron stood at the door, watching with wonder. This was more than progress. It was a miracle. Lena sat nearby, smiling gently. She didn't rush him. She just watched, waiting for Milo to try again. Yellow, she said softly, signing the word with her hands. Milo looked at her, smiled a little, and then looked at his father. Yellow. Later that day, Aaron invited Lena to join him in the private study. It was a quiet room full of books, glass walls, and a glowing table. On the table was a 3D screen showing Milo's medical history. I want to understand everything. Aaron said, why do your methods work when nothing else? Did Lena look at the glowing charts? Because those charts don't show how Milo feels. They only show how his brain works. You mean emotions matter more than science? Aaron asked. Not more, Lena replied, but just as much. Children like Milo need to feel safe, seen, and loved. Machines don't give that. People do. Aaron nodded slowly. I thought giving him the best tech would be enough, but I forgot about the heart. Lena smiled. You're learning. That's what matters. The next morning, Aaron's lead therapist, Dr. Morrow, visited the house. He was an old man with sharp eyes and many degrees. I heard about Milo's vocal progress, he said. Very interesting, Aaron nodded. I want you to observe this session with Lena. Dr. Morrow sat down and watched as Lena began her usual quiet interaction with Milo. No machines. Just cards, simple toys, and soft sounds. To everyone's surprise, Milo did something new. He pointed to a picture of a lion, then made a sound. La. Dr. Morrow raised an eyebrow. Lena signed and said, lion. Milo repeated, la, yun. It wasn't perfect, but it was clear. After the session, Dr. Morrow spoke to Aaron privately. She's doing well, he said, but her methods are outdated, basic. Emotional training cannot replace professional therapy. Aaron looked at him carefully. Outdated or not, they're working. She is not licensed anymore. Dr. Morrow said firmly, this can be dangerous. I don't care about titles, Aaron said calmly. I care about my son. And for the first time, he's making real progress. Dr. Morrow sighed and left without another word. That evening, Aaron walked into the room where Lena was packing her things. You don't need to worry about what Dr. Morrow said, Aaron told her. You're not going anywhere. Lena looked unsure. He's right. I'm not certified anymore. People won't believe in my way of teaching. But I believe. Aaron said, Milo believes. That's enough for me. Lena smiled. Then I'll stay. The next day, Lena brought something new, a small device from her old therapy center. It was simple, shaped like a box, with soft lights that changed color when touched. It didn't speak or play sounds. It responded to emotion. This is called a resonance toy, Lena explained. When a child feels something strong, joy, surprise, calm, the colors change. Aaron was curious. Does it really work? Only with the right kind of child, Lena replied. Let's see. She placed the toy in front of Milo. At first, nothing happened. Then she showed him a bright red card and made a funny face. Milo giggled. The toy lit up green and blue. Aaron gasped. It responded. Yes, Lena said. It picked up his joy. Then Milo reached out and touched the box. The color turned yellow. He's calm now, Lena whispered. He's starting to connect emotions to colors. Aaron sat down beside his son. Milo, he said gently. Do you feel happy? Milo looked at him and nodded once. Then he made a soft sound. Happy. Tears filled Aaron's eyes. You're amazing, he whispered. That night, Aaron opened a drawer full of old journals. In one of them, he found a note written by his late wife. If Milo cannot speak with words, maybe he can speak with light, music, or touch. Just don't stop listening. Aaron closed the book and held it to his chest. She was right. He said softly, I wasn't listening. The next day, Aaron invited his technology team to the house. They arrived with sleek machines and sharp suits. Lena watched them carefully. I want you to see something, Aaron told them, not with numbers, but with your eyes. He showed them a video of Milo using the colored device. Then another video where Milo tried to say cat and son. The tech leader, Navan, looked confused. You're telling me this progress happened without our system? Yes, Aaron replied. No AI, no implants, just human touch. Navan looked at Lena. What did you do? I saw him, she said simply, and I waited. Some of the engineers were moved. One of them, a young woman named Rhea, stepped forward. Maybe we can build something new, something based on feelings, not just logic. Aaron nodded. Let's start a new project, one that blends emotion and technology. He turned to Lena. And you lead it with me. Lena looked shocked. Me. Yes, together. We'll help more children like Milo. As the sun set, Milo walked to the window, holding the color box. The lights turned warm yellow and soft blue. He smiled, then turned to Lena. Look, nah, he said softly. She froze, then smiled wide. You said my name. Milo laughed. It was a sweet, pure sound. Aaron whispered to himself, this is just the beginning. The sun rose gently over the city of New Eden. It was quiet, but inside Aaron's home, something special was happening. Milo was speaking. Not full sentences, not clear words, but sounds. Short syllables, soft humming. His voice was finally starting to come alive. Lena sat on the carpet across from him. She held up a picture card. Dog, she said slowly. Milo repeated, Daw. She smiled. Good job, Milo. Aaron stood nearby, holding a cup of tea. He didn't speak. He didn't want to interrupt this beautiful moment. He just watched, filled with hope and pride. Later that day, Aaron held a private meeting with Lena in the library. I want you to work with Milo full-time, he said. You don't need to go back to the diner. I'll take care of everything. But Lena shook her head. I can't accept that. Why not? I'm not doing this for money, she said gently. I'm doing this because I care about Milo. I understand, Aaron said. But I want to help other kids too. I want to build something bigger. A place where children like Milo can learn in a better way. Lena looked surprised. Like a center. Yes, a new kind of center. Not run by machines. Not full of tests and pressure. A place with kindness and patience. Lena thought for a moment, then nodded slowly. If we build it the right way, I'll help. News of Milo's progress began to spread quietly among Aaron's staff. Some were amazed. Others were doubtful. One evening, Aaron called a special meeting. He invited doctors, engineers, child therapists, and even his board members. I want to show you something, he said, and played a short video. In the video, Milo was holding the emotion-colored toy. He touched the blue light and said, softly, Bot Lou. Then he pointed to a ball and smiled. The room went silent. This is real, Aaron said, and it's just the beginning. A man stood up. It was Dr. Morrow. With respect, this method is not proven. We need data, reports, and scientific trials. Aaron looked at him calmly. And while you wait for data, how many children stay? Silent. Dr. Morrow didn't answer. Another woman stood up. Rhea, the young tech engineer. I believe in this. We've been building machines that talk, but now we're learning how to listen. The crowd murmured in agreement. Later that night, Aaron sat alone in his room, looking at an old photo of his wife. She was holding baby Milo in her arms, smiling. He remembered her last words before she passed away. Don't let our son grow up in silence. Even if he never says I love you, let him feel it every day. Tears came to his eyes. He wiped them away and whispered, I promise. The next morning, Aaron walked into the guest room where Lena stayed. She was writing notes in a small book. We're building the center, he said. Lena looked up. Are you sure? Yes. I've already contacted an architect. It'll have open rooms, calm lights, safe spaces, and no loud machines. Just soft toys, art, music, and colored tools. Lena smiled. Then I'll help design the program. Together, Aaron said. Days passed. Milo kept improving. He could now say basic words, ball, cup, son, and ma, his attempt at mama. One day, he walked to Lena and held out a crayon. Draw, he said softly. You want to draw? Lena asked. He nodded. She handed him a paper. He drew a big yellow circle. What is it? She asked. Soon, Milo whispered. Aaron, standing at the door, felt a tear fall again. But this time, it was a happy one. But not everyone was happy. One morning, Aaron received a call from the Health and Therapy Council. Mr. Aaron, the voice said, we've heard about your new project. You're working with someone who has no license. This could become a legal issue. Aaron remained calm. She may not have a paper, but she has something better. Results. We warn you to stop this before it damages your name. Aaron ended the call without replying. He walked to the garden where Milo and Lena were sitting under a tree. Lena saw his face. Is something wrong? They're trying to stop us, he said. Then we won't stop, Lena said. We just move forward. Later that day, Aaron called a press meeting. Cameras flashed, journalists gathered. He stood on stage and said, this is not about business. It's about children. I don't care what titles people have. I care about what works. My son is speaking not because of machines, but because of one woman who chose to care. He paused, looked directly at the camera, and added, if helping children is wrong, then I don't want to be right. The news spread fast. Some people supported Aaron, others questioned him, but many parents reached out asking if their children could also learn the same way. The demand was growing. So was the hope. One night, as Lena was cleaning up Milo's toys, Aaron walked in holding a folder. What's that? She asked. A letter from a mother, Aaron replied. She saw the news. Her son is 5. Nonverbal. She wants to come. Lena smiled. We're not ready yet. We'll get ready, Aaron said. We'll make space for every child. As Milo fell asleep, holding his soft, light toy close, his room glowed blue and green. Aaron looked at Lena and said, you changed his world. Lena shook her head. He changed ours. The new center was still under construction, but hope had already arrived. In Aaron's home, the guest room had turned into a classroom. Color cards, soft toys, drawing books, and gentle sound tools were spread neatly on the floor. The room was bright with sunlight. On the wall hung a simple sign Lena had made herself. Every voice matters. Milo sat on the floor, a smile on his face. He was holding a soft animal toy, his favorite, the lion. He looked at Lena, lifted the toy, and whispered, La, Yun. Lena clapped softly. That's right, lion. Milo smiled again, then looked toward the door where his father was watching. Da. Milo said clearly. Aaron's heart skipped a beat. Did you say, Dad? Milo nodded and repeated. Da, Dad. It wasn't perfect, but to Aaron, it was the most perfect sound in the world. That evening, Aaron and Lena sat in the quiet garden. The stars above twinkled in the sky. The air smelled of flowers. I still can't believe it, Aaron said softly. He called me Dad. Lena smiled gently. He's been trying for a long time. He just needed space and love. You gave him that, Aaron said. We both did, Lena replied. The next morning, Lena introduced a new activity, a color board with sounds. Each color made a gentle sound when touched. Red gave a soft drum sound. Blue sang like the wind. Yellow made a warm chime. It was simple, but magical. Milo touched the colors slowly, one by one. As he touched them, the sounds played in the room. Lena sat beside him. "Now let's try something new," she said. She placed 3 cards in front of him: sun, tree, and bird. "Touch the color you feel when you see the sun," she said. Milo touched yellow. The warm chime played. "Good," Lena smiled. "Now, the tree." Milo touched green. A soft rustling sound played, like leaves moving in the wind. "Very good," she said gently. "Now, bird." Milo touched blue. A light flute sound played. Then, without warning, Milo made a soft sound. "Bird?" Lena gasped. "Did you say bird?" Milo smiled shyly and nodded. Later that day, Aaron called the engineers. "We're creating a program," he said. "It must use colors and sounds not just for fun, but for learning." Rhea, the young engineer, nodded. "We'll call it Speak Light." Lena liked the name. It's not forcing speech. It's inviting it. As the days passed, more parents began writing to Aaron and Lena. Letters, emails, even videos. Children from other cities, some in tears, some in silence, hoping for help. One letter stood out. It was from a father whose daughter hadn't spoken in 3 years. He wrote, "We don't need perfection. We just want to hear her say hi, Papa, once." Lena read the letter with wet eyes. "We can't help everyone," she said softly. "But we can start with a few." Aaron replied soon. The first room of the new center was ready. It was built in a quiet green area outside the city. No noisy streets, no tall towers, just trees, flowers, and soft wind. The room had no sharp lights or hard sounds. Instead, it had soft cushions, warm walls, and shelves filled with toys, books, and color boards. Lena stood in the center of the room and closed her eyes. "It feels right," she said. "It feels like home," Aaron replied. Milo was the first child to walk into the new room. He touched the wall and smiled. Then he looked up and said, "Nice." It was a simple word, but it was real. Aaron's heart swelled with pride. "He's not just speaking," he said. "He's understanding." Lena turned to him. "He's finding his voice, his own way." That afternoon, they welcomed their first visitor, a boy named Sammy, 6 years old. From another city. He didn't speak. He didn't smile. He held his mother's hand tightly. Lena knelt down and showed him a colored card. Sammy didn't react at first, but then he looked at Milo, who was sitting calmly on a cushion, playing with the sound board. Milo looked up, smiled, and pressed the blue button. A flute sound played. Sammy's eyes followed the sound slowly. He walked over. He sat beside Milo and touched the green light. A soft rustling sound played. Sammy looked at Lena and made a small noise, just a breath. But it was the first step. In the evening, Aaron and Lena sat watching the 2 boys from the other room. "Do you remember," Aaron said, "when you gave Milo that first puzzle in the diner?" Lena smiled. "Yes, I remember thinking, he just needed someone to see him. And now look." Aaron said, "He's helping others find their voice too." "He's not just learning," Lena said. "He's teaching." As night fell, Milo walked to his father, took his hand, and whispered, "Da, thank." Aaron knelt down and hugged him tightly. "You don't need to thank me, son. You are my gift." Lena watched them, her heart full. And outside the center, under the stars, a small light board glowed softly in the window. A quiet voice had finally been heard, and many more were ready to follow. The morning sun touched the windows of the new learning center. Birds flew across the sky, and a calm breeze passed through the trees outside. Inside the building, laughter echoed gently. Milo was laughing. He sat beside Sammy, the new boy, tapping the blue button on the soundboard. A soft flute-like note played, and both boys smiled. Aaron stood near the glass wall, watching them with pride. His heart felt full. Just a few weeks ago, Milo had never spoken a word. Now, he was speaking, smiling, and even helping others. Lena walked in, carrying a tray with fruit and water. "He's changed so much," she said. Aaron nodded. "He's not just learning, he's leading." More children were now arriving at the center. Some couldn't speak, some struggled to connect. But with Lina's care and Aaron's support, they began to open up. One girl, Luma, had never smiled in public. After just 2 days with the color board and soft music therapy, she gently said, "Green." Her mother cried with joy. Another child, Hari, who was afraid of people, now sat beside Milo and traced letters on a soft tablet. Every day brought a new story, a new smile, a new voice. One evening, Aaron uploaded a short video on his public page. It showed Milo saying "son" while touching the yellow sound tile. Then came a moment where he turned to Aaron and said, "Love DA." The video was simple, pure, but within hours, it spread across the city, then the country, then other parts of the world. Comments flooded in. "This gave me hope. My son is also nonverbal. Please help us. I cried watching this. Thank you, Aaron and Lena." The world was watching. The next morning, Aaron's assistant ran into his office. "Sir, you need to see this. The video has gone viral. News channels are calling. Parents are lining up outside the center." Aaron walked to the window and saw a long line of people, mothers, fathers, and children. Some had traveled from far cities, hoping for a chance. Lena stood at the doorway, surprised. "So many." "Yes," Aaron said softly. "We started something. Now people believe." Later that day, Aaron called a press conference. Reporters gathered. Microphones lined the stage. Aaron stood beside Lena, with Milo sitting quietly nearby, holding his lion toy. "We didn't build this center for fame," Aaron began. "We built it because my son needed help, and one kind woman who was once a waitress saw what no one else did. She saw his voice, even before he spoke." The room was silent. This center is not about machines. It's about connection, about seeing every child as important, as human. Lena stepped forward. "Children don't need perfect words. They need someone who listens when they say nothing." That's where it begins. The speech was shared everywhere. News channels called it the quiet revolution. Lina's story touched hearts. How a former therapist turned waitress brought voice to a child. When machines failed, Aaron received calls from international schools, health councils, even leaders from other countries. Some offered funds. Some wanted to copy the model. But Aaron and Lena were careful. "We won't turn this into a business." Aaron said, "It must stay honest." Lena agreed. "We grow slowly, with care." One day, the city's mayor visited the center. She sat with Milo and asked, "What's your favorite color?" Milo smiled and touched the blue tile. "Why blue?" she asked. "Sky," he whispered. The mayor smiled. "Smart boy," she later told the press. This center is not just helping children. It's teaching adults how to listen. Back at home, Aaron opened an old box of letters from his wife. One letter was sealed in gold paper. It was written just before she passed. "Dear Aaron, if you're reading this, it means Milo is older now. I hope you've kept your promise. I hope you didn't give up. He may not speak like others, but he will speak his own way. Please don't stop believing. And remember, the right people come when we stop searching and start listening. With love." Always. Aaron closed the letter and looked at Lena, who was helping a child tie their shoes. "She was right," he whispered. "You came when we needed you most." That weekend, the center held its first voice day. Children stood on a small stage. Some said full words, some used signs, some just smiled and waved. But every voice was celebrated. Milo walked up holding a paper. Aaron and Lena stood nearby. Milo looked at the crowd and said slowly, "My name is Milo. I love my dad." The room filled with tears and claps. Then he looked at Lena. "Loved Lena." Lena wiped a tear. "We love you too, Milo." That night, as the lights dimmed and the center rested, Aaron stood on the balcony. The stars above were bright. He looked at the world beyond the city. "We started with silence," he said softly. "Now we have a song." Lena joined him, and this is just the first verse. 1 year later, The quiet garden behind the center was full of soft laughter and bright smiles. The trees had grown taller, and the sound of wind passing through the leaves brought peace to everyone. Milo was running on the grass, chasing bubbles with other children. His voice was soft, but full of life. "Pop," he shouted, laughing as he clapped his hands at the floating bubbles. Lena watched from a nearby bench, smiling. Beside her, Aaron sat with a small notebook. "So many children," Lena said, looking around the garden. "Can you believe this all started with one visit to a small diner?" Aaron nodded. "I remember every moment. You gave Milo more than words, you gave him a future." The Speak Light Center had now helped over 50 children. Some had started speaking. Some learned to use sign language. Others expressed feelings through music, color, and art. Each child had their own journey, and each journey mattered. The team had grown too. Therapists, teachers, and volunteers joined with kind hearts and open minds. No one rushed the children. No one pushed them too hard. They were guided with care, like soft hands shaping clay. One of the new therapists, a gentle man named Omar, told Aaron, "This place feels different. Here, we listen before we speak." "That's rare," Aaron smiled. "That's what makes it work." Milo had changed in many ways. He now used short sentences. He made friends. He even helped the younger children feel safe by showing them the color board. One afternoon, a small boy named Rami arrived. He was scared, hiding behind his mother. He didn't look at anyone. Milo walked up to him and held out his lion toy, Lion. He said softly. Rami peeked out. He took the toy slowly and for the first time smiled. Lena watched from a distance, tears in her eyes. "He's not just learning anymore," she said to Aaron. "He's teaching." One evening, Aaron took Lena to the rooftop of the center. The city lights shone far away, but here it was calm and quiet. "I want to ask you something important," Aaron said. Lena turned to him, curious. "You've helped Milo. You've helped this center. You've helped me more than I can ever say." He paused and took a deep breath. "Would you stay with us? Not just as a teacher, as family." Lena looked into his eyes. "Are you asking me to stay forever?" Aaron smiled. "Yes, as Milo's teacher, as his guide, and maybe more than that." She was silent for a moment, then nodded. "Yes, I'll stay." A few weeks later, the center hosted a family's day. Parents, children, and staff came together to celebrate. There were games, music, food, and a small stage for performances. Milo stood on stage with a small paper in his hands. Everyone went quiet. He looked at the crowd and began to speak. "My name is Milo," he said clearly. "I love my dad. I love Lena. I love my friends. Thank you for listening to me." The crowd stood and clapped. Some wiped away tears. Aaron hugged his son tightly as he came down from the stage. "You're my hero," Aaron whispered. Later that night, Lena found a letter on her table. It was written in a child's handwriting, simple and neat. It said, "Thank you for waiting for me to speak. Thank you for seeing me when no one else did. Love. Milo." She pressed the letter to her chest, her eyes full of emotion. "This is why I stayed," she whispered to herself. Months passed. Speak Light Centers started opening in other cities. Lena helped train teams. Aaron funded the projects. But no matter how big it got, they kept one promise: every child would be treated like a person, not a problem. Every voice would be welcomed, spoken or silent, and every small step would be celebrated. One quiet evening, as the sun set behind the center, Aaron, Lena, and Milo sat together on the garden bench. Fireflies danced in the air. The wind was cool and soft. "Do you remember when I couldn't talk?" Milo asked. Lena smiled. "Yes, you waited for me," he said. Aaron put his arm around his son. "And we always will." Milo leaned against them. "Now, I want to help other kids talk too." "You already are," Lena said softly. The stars slowly filled the sky above them. In a world once full of silence, one small boy had spoken, and his words had lit a path for many others to follow.